When I first started up my clothing brand, I had absolutely no idea how many little nuances and details go into creating a legitimate clothing brand. And in this video here, I want to share with you 5 tips to quickly make your clothing brand just look way more legit. And these are things that I was forced to discover, forced to learn and implement inside of my own clothing brand in order to get my clothing brand to the next level. These are the little details that so many clothing brands miss that helped take my clothing brand to $10K a month, then to $20K a month, and up to $70,000 in a single month. And I can't wait to share it with you so that you can put it in place for your own brand. Here it is. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd's a logo maker tool. You type in the name of the logo that you want to have made, hit enter, thousands of logos will come up. You choose the logo that you like, then you can edit and refine that logo as long as you want for free until it's perfect. I made this design for my own clothing brand using BrandCrowd. If you're interested, head over to brandcrowd.com/apparel success and you can get up to 66% off at checkout. Okay, so these 5 tips that I'm going to share with you are going to make your brand look way more legit. And the reason why we want your brand to look legit is because just about anybody can start up a clothing brand within like a week. You just slap a logo on some t-shirts, on some hoodies, and you create a website really quickly and you try and sell them. And so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to differentiate you and give your brand those intangibles, those little details and those little nuances that are really going to differentiate your brand from all these other brands that just pop up and then they wonder why they're not making sales. It's because of these little details, and I want to jump into it right now. The first tip to make your brand look more legit, and this requires 0 external resources from you, you can do all of this yourself, is to stage your brand in a way that makes everything perceived as high quality. Okay, and so if you imagine, there's all these different aspects of your clothing brand. There's your product quality. Then there's how you're actually showing those products on your website and the quality of the pictures that you've decided to use to display those pictures. Then there's your website quality itself, how your website looks, the aesthetic of it, the structure of it, the user experience, the cart, the checkout process. Then there's all of the words that you're using inside of your ads, the creative inside of your ads, the photos that you're deciding to display on, say, Instagram, or the posts that you're making on TikTok. All of this is going to create one giant experience and feeling that people are going to have about your brand. And the big issue with so many brands that just start up is they're not detail-oriented enough when they're creating their brand to actually cover all the bases and make sure that every little detail is taken care of. A quick example of this, I do a ton of brand reviews all the time, and I look at websites that have text with a color behind it where you can't really read the text and it just kind of looks amateur, or there's words spelt wrong, or full sentences that just kind of aren't clear and they don't make sense. And you're basically just taking all the credibility for your brand and just chucking it out the window. You're giving your brand no chance at really making these sales because people are coming to your brand and they're just getting this sense, this immediate instinct that your brand isn't quite there yet, you're not a legitimate brand, and they're just going to leave. And I think that that's the main reason why so many people don't make sales. The second tip to make your clothing brand look more legit is to clearly express brand identity. Legit brands are able to express the personality of their audience better than their audience can. They're able to bring out aspects of their customers' personality that their customers aren't even able to really get clear on. So when a brand gets really clear on who they are, what they stand for, their sense of humor, what they're all about, and people are able to connect with that, it actually gets that customer more in touch with who they are on an identity level. Like, for example, on this YouTube channel, if I'm able to express to you your problems as a clothing brand owner better than you can, it immediately gives me credibility when it comes to explaining how to get over those problems. And so it's really the exact same effect that's happening with your clothing brand. With my clothing brand, I represent rural Canada, and it's all about the humor here in rural Canada. So when I make funny TikTok videos for my audience, and I'm expressing parts of rural Canada that are bringing to the surface these aspects of our personality that these people have within them that they didn't even really realize or they weren't clear on yet. That's really the absolute best thing that you can do to make your clothing brand look legit and really connect with that audience. So I think that this is like obviously a bit of an advanced level tip that I'm sharing with you, but hopefully you understand that and you're able to apply it to your brand. The third tip to make your clothing brand look way more legit is to use mostly inbound marketing tactics and to be very cautious about how you're using outbound marketing tactics. Now, I want to quickly explain to you the difference between inbound and outbound marketing for those of you who don't know. Inbound marketing is basically marketing tactics that draw customers into you without you really having to do any outreach. So it's like creating content online where people just sort of find you on their own and they buy from you. Very similar to how you may have found this channel all on your own without me finding you to actually tell you I have this YouTube channel. You just sort of found me on your own. Outbound marketing is like doing cold calls, reaching out to people in the DMs, actually commenting on people's posts. Now, I believe that there is room for both inbound and outbound marketing tactics for your clothing brand. But when we're talking about outbound marketing, if you want to make your clothing brand look legit, you have to be very cautious about how you're doing this. What most brands get wrong is when they do this, they're really aggressive. They're like trying to convince people to buy. You may have seen inside of some of your clothing brand's posts in the comments, like manufacturers overseas, like DM us for sale. We want to work with you. And it's just like, dude, it's just so aggressive, like chill out, you know, and you definitely don't want to be creating that same effect for your audience. So for outbound marketing, the way that I always do it when I reach out is it's always in the form of like a gift. It's always just like, oh, here's a 10% off promo code if you want. Cheers. It's never like, oh, here's a 10% off promo code and let me tell you about why you should buy our clothing brand and let me explain to you the benefits. It's never like this salesy thing. So I highly recommend doing like 80 to 90% inbound marketing and like 20 to 10% outbound. And when you do outbound marketing, you really want to be cautious of how you're coming across, your professionalism, and the way that you're communicating to your audience. The fourth tip to make your clothing brand look more legit is to price your products higher and to not price your products too low. What a lot of clothing brands do is they'll price their products really low to make them look more affordable. But what they oftentimes don't realize is that by making their clothing look more affordable, they're simultaneously hurting the perceived value of their products. So this is why brands like Gucci and, you know, like the big designer brands are charging so much for their products, even though the materials are like the same that we'd be using for our lifestyle clothing brands. The reason why they price them so high is to create this exclusivity. And so obviously if you're just a lifestyle brand or a streetwear brand, you don't have to go crazy with price, but you definitely want to price it at a level that shows that your clothing brand has like a self-esteem, like it has self-worth, and you're not just like giving away your products for absolutely nothing. It'll not only, you know, increase the perceived value of your brand, but it'll also just give your clothing brand so much better profit margins and basically keeps your brand super healthy. So that's what I'd recommend. The fifth tip to make your brand look more legit is to inject social proof into your brand. And there's 3 ways to inject social proof into your brand. Number 1 is having customers. Number 2 is growing a large following on social media. And number 3 is having high status people wear your clothing brand, like celebrities and influencers. Now, I know that this isn't something that sounds easy to do, but it's something where you start small with each of these and you slowly build them up. I think that the easiest of the 3 to start with is, probably surprising to you, having customers. Okay, because you don't need to have thousands of customers. You just need to take like your first 10, your first 20 customers, reach out to them on Instagram, reach out to them in email and ask for pictures of them wearing it. Say, you know, you're a newer brand starting up. Thanks for the order. We'd love to get some pictures for our website, for our social media. People love to do this stuff. You take those pictures, you showcase them on your website, you showcase them on your social media, and just by doing that, you're already in a better position than if you had no social proof to begin with. So you're taking baby steps here, but that's kind of a way that you can start, right? You got to get those first orders. The way that you get those first orders is through having a high quality looking website, a high quality looking brand where you've done your best to stage everything. You get those first orders and then you start injecting the social proof. The way to build up a following is it's going to take time to develop a following, obviously, but the only way to do this really is through being consistent, constantly trying to get better and better at the content that you're creating, to get shareable content, to make your posts go viral, to create more of like awareness around your brand, and slowly but surely you'll be building up your following. And then obviously to get celebrities and influencers, to get high status people wearing your brand, you can just reach out to them in the DMs and offer them free clothing. Just say, hey, we're a huge fan. We'd love to send you a t-shirt. If you do this like 100, 200, 300 times a day, one of them is going to reach out and say, yeah, I'd absolutely love a shirt. Thank you for reaching out. You then hopefully they'll tag you in a picture, or you can ask for a picture. And if you get that, it's like securing gold for your brand. You can put that on your website. You can put that on your social media. And that's really going to help increase the legitness of your brand and give your brand that high status vibe. They're going to take that celebrity, that influencer, and they're going to associate their status with your brand status. And so that's really the effect that's going on there. So those were 5 tips to really make your brand look way more legit. I hope that they landed, and I hope that you apply them to your brand and get amazing results with them. And if you like this video, please hit the like button for me. It really helps me get these videos out there. And let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. My clothing brand marketing program is 50% off until the end of the year, and this is the last sale that I'm ever going to have. I break down real conversations I've had with celebrities and influencers to land endorsements for my own brand. I show you how to grow a real following on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube from scratch. And I show you how to set up, structure, and scale up Facebook ads and TikTok ads for your clothing brand. If you're interested, you can learn more about what's inside at clothingbrandmarketing.com, and I hope to see you inside.